Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. There's a problem that happens around a lot of houses, especially houses that have a few years on them, and that is old sticky doorknobs. I had this problem recently, and there's a trick that I've been using for years. Now, I'll tell you right up front, there are some people, especially people who are in maintenance type work, that will tell me this is an absolute no-no. Well, I've been doing it for more than a decade and it works wonderfully. This is a typical doorknob. You're inside, you're outside with the key. And sometimes when you go to turn them, there we go. What it does is retracts this mechanism. And I've seen doors where the bolt here would stick and you'd have to bang on it to get it to pop back out. I've seen them where they felt like they had a hard spot in them and I literally could not get them to open. I've even seen times when someone's just, I guess we're going to have to get a new doorknob. Absolutely not. If you have a bottle of WD-40, 90% of the time you can fix this without taking it off the door. Now, if you have to take it off the door, you'll find two screws on the inside. You just take these screws out and the thing starts to pull apart. I'll even take it apart for you. There's one. And there's two. Be sure if you take it off that your door is open. And that just pulls apart. You can leave one half of it still in the door. But before I would do that, let me get this back together here. There's one side that goes in here just so. There we go. All right, it goes back together. Before I would do that, I would take my WD-40, which is not the best, but it's the most common lubricant that people have. And I would spray some directly onto the face of the bolt. Now, when you do this, be sure, you know I use the same shop towel for everything. Put a shop towel around it. WD-40 can cause some discoloration if you let it drop onto the floor. So put it on there and just squirt some right into the bolt here. And let it work in and work it. Then I will take, and again putting my rag underneath it, I apply my applicator, or point my applicator right where the handle goes through this shield and give it a little squirt, do the same thing on the outside, and work it, work it, work it, work it, work it. 90% of the time, that will take care of your problems. If it does not, pull it back apart. There we go. And simply squirt some oil on the mechanism. I want you to see how this thing, how it turns here. Squirt some mechanism on the back side of the bolt, some lubricant I should say. Our bathroom door got to sticking a few weeks ago, and I've told you before, I don't think about making a video until after I've done that. And went up there, squirt, squirt, moved it a couple of times, and the thing feels like I've changed it and put a brand new one. This is just what happens when you've got products that have been around for a lot of years. And to be honest, the contractor who built this house did not put premium quality fixtures in, so sometimes they get to messing up. Now, if you don't have WD-40 and you're going to have to go buy something, let me recommend to you 3-in-1's Dry Lock or Dry Lube. It's 3-in-1 Lock Dry Lube is the actual name. You can find it on Amazon, I'm sure probably eBay. I've not looked up the price. But this, let me see if I can get the ingredients list here. I suspect that this is a propellant that carries most likely graphite. And I don't see contents under pressure. It does say it contains petroleum distillates. Dry lube will, the difference between the two, they will both do the same job. This will stay wetter longer, and people in maintenance will tell you that the the oily residue, which that's what oil is, will collect dirt on these. Okay, if I have to oil it again in 2 or 3 years, no big deal. We had a one of those big metal doors at one of the churches I've attended. And it had the big bar on the inside, but it had a key lock on the outside. And it got absolutely impossible for us to open that door, especially in cold weather, which told me that most likely there was some moisture had gotten into there, and when it got really cold, it froze and it hindered the mechanism from working. And one of the guys in the church had been a maintenance man in a major North Carolina hospital, and he was well up into maintenance. Not in supervision, but in the actual hands-on stuff. And he said, man, don't you ever put WD-40, started to say 3-in-1, WD-40 on a lock. Hey, boy, that'll collect dirt. And those guys monkeyed around trying to figure out a way to make this lock work. And I waited till he wasn't there one day. And I told one of the other maintenance guys, if we got some WD-40, I'll fix this right now. Well, he said not to do it. Okay, but what he don't know won't hurt him. Went, squirt, 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 right into the keyhole. And I didn't tell you that. On this side, if you don't take the handle off, and even if you do, if you leave the outside part attached, squirt some directly into the key point here, the key opening. And again, squirt, squirt, just a little spit. You don't want a big psh. Give it a little spit, take your key and run it in. That is moving that lubricant. But anyway, as I was telling you, this guy who was like, that man told us not to do this, gave a little squirt into the keyhole. He put his key in, and that thing smoothed up like it was made of silk. And he was like, wow, I'm going to remember this. So if you have a sticking lock, find a penetrating oil will work. I do recommend anytime you use the oilier type products, be sure that you place a towel under it to catch anything so that it doesn't discolor your floor or your carpet. Usually if you get some on the door itself, just wipe it off, because if you get it quick enough, you're not going to have a problem there. But it will save you from having to go to the hardware store or going to Lowe's Hardware or something and buying a new doorknob. And you can see this one is actually discolored. I don't know if I've got them mismatched. I keep spare sets around for those just in case moments. It's not hard to put back together. Let me put my screws in here so I don't lose them. I keep one of those so if I ever do have one that breaks, I have extra screws, even the extra bolt here. I've got all the parts I need to make a quick repair until I can go get a new one. But a little lubrication will serve you well, especially if you're in a climate like we are. Here, here in the mid-Atlantic, you could say we have the best or the worst of the extremes. We get cold weather. By the way, today is the third snowfall that we have had here in 8 days. Today's Friday. It started last Friday. We had one Friday, one Monday, and now another one today. But today's going to be pretty mild, about an inch or so. But my point is, and we're going to see temperatures tomorrow night down to into single digits. If there's the least bit of moisture in here, it will cause those things to freeze up. How does moisture get in there? On the other side, we get 80, 90, and sometimes even 100-degree weather in the summertime, which cause things to sweat, and you get condensation. Hot on the outside, your air conditioner running on the inside. I know on those really, really hot days, you'll see condensation on the windows because of that differential. And so something like this, what does WD-40 stand for? Water Displacement Formula 40. So that will help to remove that water from there. Just don't be excessive and you'll have really good results. I am the bald guy. I started this channel because so often my son, when he got out and bought his own house, he was like, Dad, how do I do this? How do I do that? And through the community, I've seen so many people who maybe their dads were just not the hands-on kind of dads, the fix-it kind of dads. And I am of the opinion that there is benefit in learning to do things yourself. I very seldom turn to Google the first thing. If I have no clue what I'm doing, yes, I will do so, but don't become a Google expert. Become a hands-on expert. Learn to be, some of you are women, so let me apologize, but for you men, learn to be a man that other family members can say, hey, if I've got trouble, I know that they will work to make it happen. So that's why I do this, and if it helps you, leave us a comment, leave us a like. I hope that you'll share these videos. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. And until my next project that I can think of, I'm the Bald Guy saying, have a good day.